Hello, good morning, good evening. If you're watching this video, it's because you're wondering how or why to use a strop. And since I give a strop out with every knife I make, I figured I'd give you the resource in case you wanted to know. So first of all a strop is pretty much a piece of leather, piece of wood, or if you're in a bind, you can even just use a piece of cardboard. But essentially you can just do this if you want. Have the leather rough side up, and then you take a compound, a rubbing compound. I just use a cheap rubbing compound here, and you just color it on like a crayon. Essentially, this is all you need to do. You might not be able to see it very well. Just so you know, there are plenty of different compounds. There are diamond infused compounds. There are different grits of compounds. One thing you want to make sure of is if you're changing the grit and the type of compound, you either need to clean the strop off completely or you need to get a new strop, because any contamination of the old compound left on there will mean that that's what the finish is going to be. So we have the strop, we put some compound on there. I'll put a little bit more. You don't have to cake it on too bad. All you gotta do is color it on, like I said. Video shaking a little bit. So you color it on, and then you take the knife. This is a freshly sharpened knife, but as you can see, one thing about it, it's sharp, but it hangs up in spots. So what I'm doing, what the strop will do for you, is it takes the burr off the edge here, and it refines and hones that edge. So you take the knife, you find that bevel angle. Here we go, we find that angle right there. So we might have to tilt it up a little bit to find that angle of that edge. And we just run it back along that edge. Both sides. Make sure you're pulling away from the leather so you're not cutting into the leather. So if you go this way, you will cut into that leather and you'll ruin your strop. So you just want to find that edge and lightly, you don't have to press hard. You press hard and this leather will come up and over that edge of the bevel and it'll round that edge off. So you just lightly come around, find that angle, make 10 or so passes, and as you can see, it's discoloring here, right? There's a little bit of discoloration. That's the steel that you're taking off of the edge, whether the burr or the honing, and it's actually like a very, very fine grit knife sharpener. So you're just honing that edge, and you can see that doing that is actually taking a little bit of material off. It's microscopic. So when you do this, I like to do this after I sharpen a knife. And then one other reason is because in between sharpenings, it'll extend the life of that edge. So you'll maintain a sharper edge longer by just doing this a few times, whether it's every use or every other use, so you don't have to sharpen as much. Now I did it, what, 10 times or so? We'll see if it's gonna hang up any. So you can see that it's cutting a lot easier in there. And you can do this a few times more if you're hanging up. All right. Again, basically you're just letting the weight of the knife, you're not applying any other pressure. Make sure you're hitting that edge bevel correctly. If you do it once or twice incorrect, it's not going to really mess it up because, like I said, this is such a microscopic level of what you're doing. But if you continually are pressing too hard or putting the wrong angle in there, you will eventually just take the edge off if you go too steep of an angle. If you go too shallow of an angle, you're just cleaning the whole knife off. As you can see, this knife has a little bit of use. It's a high carbon knife, so it's gonna rust a little bit. Try to keep it oiled. I think you can see that discoloration on that strop pretty well now. We won't go into it too much, but you'll see that it is gone to hair shaving sharp. Oh. Very quick and easy. Now, one thing we're going to talk about is, again, when you apply it, all you got to do is apply a little bit of the compound onto the strop like so. You don't have to apply every time. You know, you can go quite a few uses in between. Here's one that I have here that you can see that I've used quite a bit without applying every time. Also, one thing, if you do get a lot of buildup, you want to now maintain your strop a little bit. A couple ways to do that is to take a scraper and scrape it off, which I think this knife has a nice backside. You can just scrape off a lot of that compound just like so. Take it off. If it starts building up too much, you can do it that way. As you can see, that works pretty well. And if you want to completely take it off, what you do is you take a little bit of mineral oil. You can pour mineral oil on there. And just take a rag or something, and it should just start coming right off with mineral oil. So I'm not going to go through it, but that's two ways you can do it. Let the strop dry out a little bit afterwards, and then you can just reapply your compound. Again, there are different colors of compound that signifies the different grits. You have different types of compound. You've got diamond infused. You can go pretty expensive. Depends on what your goal is. My goal is just to get the knife sharp, and this works for me. I don't need it. I'm not in a competition. So it gets a nice sharp. As you can see, it's hair popping sharp here. And that's all it is. I think that's about all I got for you. So, like I said, if you want to keep your knife sharp, get sharper. Strops are magic. All right, thank you.